Hi everybody, welcome back to Small Caliber Arms Review. Today we're going to be taking a look at and building a shoulder holster, and it's probably one of the most famous shoulder holsters, one of them anyways, but not necessarily the best looking shoulder holster anyways. This one is really kind of a, you get to see it first in Dr. No in the James Bond movie when he goes in to trade in his Beretta 418 for a Walther PPK. And that's what we got here, a Walther PPK. And since we've got a Walther PPK, we got to have the shoulder holster for it. Now, this shoulder holster is not made necessarily for this gun because he takes the Beretta out of that shoulder holster and then puts this one in. Now, this one is made out of suede of all materials. It is leather, but it's a really blue suede, not like the shoes, and a sand color suede and a black suede, but I've got a really dark navy blue here that is going to pass for black, and it's just for the strap that holds it around the right shoulder. It's right hand draw, so it's underneath the left arm, and it's just pretty much a bag. It does have a strap that attaches to a button in his pants and just goes around his shoulder. It's a really simple one. It's really not a good looking one, I don't think, but it's functional and it is iconic anyways. It is the James Bond shoulder holster from the first couple movies. Anyways, let's get to making a pattern for this thing and then we'll get to sewing it together. It should be a pretty easy one. All right, now I was not able to find a lot of really good pictures online anyways of the shoulder holster that he wears, but it fits really tightly underneath his left arm. So we're gonna try to keep this thing up pretty high anyway, so it covers it up with the arm, and it's underneath the jacket. It's no problem, but it's going to be kind of high up there. It is kind of wide, that really bright blue, and it's a pretty wide strap on the shoulder. It looks like it's about 2 inches wide, and then the strap that goes across his right shoulder is about 1 inch. I think I did see a shot in the movie where you can see a little buckle up here on his shoulder just to kind of adjust the tension on it. Other than that, you got a little seam right here on the shoulder where it's just kind of overlapped and sewn together with a square and an X in the middle of it, and I'm assuming it's the same thing on the back. Now we're going to make this kind of like the pattern for the Josie Wales shoulder holster. In fact, I may use that actual pattern and just kind of modify it a little bit to fit up underneath there, because I know where that one goes right now to make it fit me fairly well. So we'll get to making a pattern for it and get it sewn together. And like I said, there's no fancy tooling, no real fancy stitching. We are going to do a saddle stitch on it, and it's just pretty much two seams, two sides of the holster there. It folds over and makes a little pouch or a bag pretty much to hold it under his arm. Anyways, let's get to making a pattern, and I'm going to get out of this here tuxedo shirt because just can't do a holster wearing a tuxedo shirt. This is the shoulder holster. This is the Josie Wales one, and the James Bond one's not a lot different, but the bottom part of it is for sure. It's all one piece pretty much, except for the actual flap that holds that in there. This one is not quite going to work right. It's a little bit different. On this one, on the James Bond one, it comes up a little higher there, so that little square where it's sewn here is a little higher up. So I will modify it a little bit, and I definitely got to modify the bottom of it a lot more anyways. And it'll be close, but this one's just not quite gonna work, so I'll get a pattern made up. And another thing, I looked through a bunch more of the pictures because I wasn't real sure on the strap that goes around the shoulder. It does just make a C shape on there, that's all it does. But some of the holsters I find, the pictures I find, looks like it's a blue strap on there too. Some of them it looks like it's a darker one. And I do have more suede. I've got the blue, I've got some sand color, I've got red, and I actually have some black and some of the dark navy blue. So I think I'm going to make the whole thing blue. It's tough to say, but whatever, it doesn't matter. You can't see it under the jacket anyways. So I'm going to get a pattern made up and then we'll get to working on this thing. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get this thing traced out. And like I said, I know this part of it fits me well because I've already made this holster before. Okay, I think that's going to be pretty close right there. It is quite a bit longer than the gun itself. And then the pouch part of it is just going to be, it's not quite straight, or it is straight on this side, but it's not quite in the middle. It's offset a little bit, it looks like to me anyways. this pouch piece here is going to have a little extra because it's going to lay over this way, it's going to get sewn down there, and then it's going to fold over and it's going to get sewn all the way down here, around there to the bottom, and then we're going to sew in a little, we're going to put probably a 3/4 inch wide strap down there too, and we'll make that go up in between there, probably have it stick up in there a little bit, sew it in there, and then we'll cut a slot in there for a buttonhole. Just like that. Okay, had the wife help me fit this up, and there's going to be some changes. Tape and paper can be your friends with stuff like this. Okay, I'm on about my 5th version of this thing, and I've had to make a few changes to it. Made it a little bit wider in the back, made the parts where the strap attaches a little bit more pronounced on there because I go back and look at more and more pictures of the holster. I've established my stitch line on there and the actual pocket piece that goes on there. Now it's going to be a little bit wider than this because it's got to form a pocket on there, and I'm hoping that's going to be big enough. It is flexible, the whole thing is flexible, so front and back all of it will flex to let the gun go in there, and I think that's going to be big enough for the Walther PPK. It should be. Maybe I'll make it a little bit wider. That's an easy one to do. I don't have to change this design anymore, but I think I've got it where it needs to be. Done a couple test fits and everything with the paper part of it. It is kind of wide in the back there, and I think that's going to do it. So I've got my 2 pieces here. I can separate it. I did allow a little bit of overlap there for the stitch seam that's going to be on it. And like I said, I'm not making this adjustable because I'm making this to fit me, and just me, or anybody else my size, I guess. But I think I am going to make that pocket just a little bit wider, and then I got to make the little strap that comes down here, and then the strap that goes across the shoulders there, I'm just going to cut one long piece 3/4 of an inch wide, and I will cut it right on the shoulder. Up here is where there's a buckle. It looks like a buckle anyways, so I'm going to probably cut it to put the buckle on there, or maybe I just might make it to fit me, and that's it. It's a little tricky in the pictures there to see what's going on in the back there. I only found a couple scenes where you can see the back of it. It almost looks to me like maybe there's an elastic on there. I don't know, I couldn't say, but there's a couple shots where you can see it gets a little bit wider on the strap for a little distance across his back there. Maybe, I don't know. We'll put the buckle on there and see what happens. All right, I got my 2 pieces of blue suede cut out there. Got my pattern pieces laid on top of there. I'm gonna get those set to the side because the next thing I need to cut out is a piece of this. Now it's supposed to be, this is a sand color, and it looks, it depends on what clip I'm looking at or what picture I'm looking at online. It looks to be kind of a tan, but this is what I ordered, so we're going to go with that. Now the little piece right here does not take up much space at all, so I've got plenty of this color left over. Now I can go ahead and get these stitched together, and I'm going to use the saddle stitch with this thinner thread. Okay, I've got the pouch sewn on here. Not my best stitch work there, and if I had this to do all over again, I would definitely use a sewing machine on suede. It is such a pain to try to sew that by hand with a saddle stitch. The holes don't stay open, so it's hard to see. Now I got the strap cut out for there. 3/4 inch wide. I'm not sure exactly what the length is on it. It was a little less than 4 feet, I think. And I had my wife help me get this fit just for me. So there is not going to be any adjustment on it. No buckle on the shoulder strap here. And I'm going to get these sewn on here, get some holes punched in it and sewn on. And like I said, if I had to do all over again, I would do it exclusively with the machine. But I don't have my machine available right now, so I am just going to use a few more saddle stitches on here by hand, and then I will call it good. There it is. All right, guys, there it is. That is my version of the James Bond shoulder holster from Dr. No. And I think maybe like the first 2 movies or something like that. They describe it as a chamois material, but it's suede, I guess. That's what I'm assuming anyways. There are no patterns for this holster. I have seen a bunch of companies online that make a version of it. They make it out of a veg tan leather that's dyed blue with the little suede pouch on there, I guess. But it's the same thing. It's a crappy holster. It really is. It is just a movie holster. I would not recommend carrying one made out of this material and stuff. But that is, like I said, that's my version of it. And I wanted to make it because I've got the Walther PPK here, and I will do a video on that pretty soon. But it works out pretty good. It is a shoulder holster, and it is easy to conceal. Obviously, it fits underneath the jacket. Not real easy to get to, I guess. Maybe it's just because of the way I made it or something, who knows. But I would not recommend a holster like this for actual concealed carry, because it is not there's no way to secure the firearm in there. There's no retention, 0 retention on it, and there is no strap to hold it in or anything. It's just a pouch, just a bag that holds it in there pretty much. And that's it. I will have to put a buttonhole in it. Right now I just got it tucked under my belt, but I'll have to put a buttonhole in there and put a button inside the pants there for that little strap to hold on to. But for drawing the gun, it's fine. Putting it back in is a little more difficult. Like I said, it may be just the way I made it, I don't know, but it's not made specifically for the Walther PPK because he carried a Beretta 418 in it at first. Anyways, thanks for taking a look at it. I'll put some links in the description below for Weaver Leather. That's where I got the suede from. I buy a lot of my stuff from Weaver. And I do have an affiliate link in there, so if you could click on that if you're looking to buy some leather stuff, check it out. And thanks for watching Small Caliber Arms Review. Bond.